Personality is a complex subject that's had psychologists scratching their heads for decades. How can you sort people into categories based on common traits, values, and worldviews when each person is so different? Every individual is a three-dimensional being shaped by their thoughts and experiences, so categorizing them must be nearly impossible. But that hasn't stopped psychologists from giving it the old college try. Also, why is that a saying? I've never met anyone who tries less than a college student. People don't just try college either. Yeah, it's gonna cost me about $100,000, but I figured, what the heck, let's give it a shot, just for fun. No. There's a metric crapload of personality tests out there. Some of them better, some of them questionable, at best. So I gathered up every quote-unquote good personality test I could find, and I'm gonna try them all. Now, I'm not a psychologist, although I did take 3 psych classes in university, so, you know, I'm basically a psychologist. Nope. Kidding. Anyway, I'm gonna rank the tests based on how accurate I feel the results are for me personally, but again, I'm no professional, so this is all subjective and just for fun. By the way, stick around to the end of the video for a special promo about a big project I'm working on. I really hope you'll like it. With that out of the way, let's start off with the Big Five, also known as the Ocean Test or the Canoe Test, because those are abbreviations for each of the 5 measured categories, that being openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. As far as I know, this is the gold standard for personality tests according to actual psychologists, so I'll just jump into it now. I stay in the background. I have a YouTube channel. I don't stay in the background. I quite literally put a picture of myself in the foreground of the frame. Am I humble? Well, that's a trick question. Am I humble? No, not at all. Well, actually, that means I'm very humble. Well, but then no, I'm not humble. Oh, but saying that makes me really humble. Well, but then if I say I'll put it there. Score it. All right, here we go. They always do this where you can pay them a bunch and get a full report bundle. I'm not gonna do that, of course. So I scored like incredibly high on openness. Wow, look at that. Surprisingly high on extroversion. Not as agreeable as I thought. I'm high in neuroticism and conscientiousness. Yeah, I guess those both check out. You have a highly creative and imaginative way of thinking, and you often see connections that others do not. Let's go. I definitely would be able to judge this better if I unlock the full report, but I'm not gonna give them $700 or however much they probably are asking for. So the Big Five model of personality really is the best out there. For me personally, I felt like that specific test had a lot of questions that were ambiguous, which led to me getting scores that I don't think are accurate. For example, it said I'm roughly only 58% agreeable and 71% extroverted. I think I'm actually much more agreeable than this, which is funny because I'm disagreeing with the test, and I also think I'm much less extroverted than this, but that more had to do with the way that I interpreted the questions rather than the model of the Big Five itself. So I'm not gonna give it S tier because it did get some things wrong, but I'll put it in A because, again, gold standard. I'd feel really bad for all those psychologists who spent their lives dedicated to making this a good test, and then some YouTuber guy comes along and starts trash talking it, so we'll put it in A tier. Next on the chopping block is the MBTI, or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator. Now, I was super obsessed with the MBTI in middle and high school. It's funny because the test is supposed to tell you about your personality, but instead the test became my personality. But then I went to university and I took university level psychology classes, and we actually talked about the MBTI, and sorry to break it to you, but it's overhyped. I think it's a scam for work or school to force you to take these. That shouldn't be allowed, but it encourages introspection, and at the very least, it's a fun way to spend a Friday night. For people like me, anyway. Most people, you know, go to parties. Not me, I take personality tests online. But you can do it with friends, and it's still fun. You prioritize being sensitive over being completely honest. You can do both. I'm gonna give that a neutral, because I feel like if I say, no, I don't prioritize being sensitive, the test is gonna go, okay, so we're gonna rate you asshole. My gender. Malay. Okay, there it is. INFJT. So this is the same personality type I got when I last took this quiz a couple years ago. I don't think I'm quite this introverted, but I think I'm definitely a lot closer to this than this. Whoa, 85% intuitive. This has certainly gone up since I started my YouTube channel. So that's interesting. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Not as in like, oh wow, yeah, that's so me. More as in, whenever a question came up that said, do you tend to lean more towards emotion or logic, I always answered neutral because I couldn't tell. But thinking about this for me personally actually feels quite accurate. Decisive, thorough, highly organized. I gotta admit, I gave myself too much credit. I think I said I was a little bit more organized than I actually am. I would say I'm more more judging than prospecting if we're gonna categorize things this way. I wouldn't say it's to this extent. Oh my gosh. Turbulent individuals are self-conscious and sensitive to stress. Wow. Okay. Say what you will about the 16 personalities test. This couldn't be more accurate. Your brain's real screwed up. There it is. Well, I get to be Gandalf, so that's pretty cool. I know they have like celebrities at the bottom. Is Gandalf actually one of them? Aragorn! I won. Guys, I have the best personality type. Okay, now to rank MBTI. Honestly, I thought it was gonna be very low, but I want to put it in A tier. Oh, but all the psychologists will get so mad at me. No, look, not ranking them on how good of tests they are, just ranking them on how accurate I feel their descriptors are. So I'm putting it in A tier. Don't yell at me. Okay, now we're getting into the fun ones. The True Colors test is one that I took in middle school. I don't think there's a lot of people who swear by it. It's more just for fun. The idea is you're broken into one of 4 colors: gold, orange, blue, or green. I don't actually remember what they are. All I remember is that in middle school, I got almost an exact 25% split 4 ways. So I'm interested to see if that's changed. I take pride in my Genshin Impact. Let's go. Sorry. I am mostly realistic. Wow, okay, so it changed a lot. Your true color is blue. Blue individuals usually are flexible, personable, warm, compassionate, and imaginative. In stressful situations, you're able to remain calm and mediate situations between individuals. No! I said so many times, I do not handle stress well. Your personality gives you a deep desire to feel appreciated and loved by others. Well, yes, but that's everyone. Overall, I think this test is about as good as I thought it would be. I'm disappointed that it doesn't tell you the characteristics of the other colors. Let's look it up just for fun. Orange is the color of activity and excitement. Oh, I want to be orange. Fun-loving, humorous, witty, and charming. Oh, I don't want to be blue. Blue sucks. Gold is said to represent authenticity, dependability, and tradition. Integrity, responsibility, crossing items off a to-do list. Okay, yeah, I'm not gold at all. What did it say about that? Yeah, I'm only 17% gold. I'm only 10% orange, but I'm so spontaneous and witty and funny. I can do crazy things. Look at this editing. Whoa, so weird and spontaneous and witty and charming. Yeah, okay, yeah, fine, whatever. I'm also 24% green. What is green about? Innovation, nature, intellectual, and philosophical. Okay. Well, after reading all of that, what do I think about the True Colors personality test? I think I'm mad that I'm not more orange. I was gonna put it in F tier because a lot of the stuff about blue didn't ring true for me at all, and the rest of it that I did relate to kinda seemed like boilerplate things that anyone would relate to, until it talked about relationships. I felt like that was maybe a bit more specific and accurate for the way I approach my relationships, so rather than putting it in F tier, I'm gonna put it in D, because I'm mad that I'm not an orange. Our 4th test is the Enneagram test. I know a couple people who live and die by this. I don't know much about this test, except it's more like how you perceive the world, and a lot of it kind of has a negative connotation. I'm gonna start the classical Enneagram test, and we'll see what happens at the end. I just noticed this website has chakras and acupressure at the top of it. I'm getting more skeptical by the minute. Energies? I don't know. Personal relationships are by far the most important thing. Bro, this is how you can tell I'm getting tired, is that I'm starting to slur all of my words together. I've finished it. Okay, let's see my results for the Enneagram. You are most likely a type 6. This is the same type that I got years ago when I took this. That's interesting. It is not clear from these test results which Enneagram type and wing you are. Huh, I guess I'm a bit of a mystery. Or maybe this test is garbage. Let's take a look at type 6 because that's the highest I scored on. I also scored high on type 3. I don't remember what that is. I remember type 6 is like anxious. The loyalist, conflicted between trust and distrust. People of this personality type essentially feel insecure. All right, I've been called out. This tendency makes 6s gifted at troubleshooting, but also robs the 6 of much needed peace of mind and tends to deprive the personality of spontaneity. So that's why I'm blue and not orange. It's because of my stupid anxiety. So to rank the Enneagram test, I want to be a little bit generous because I don't understand a lot of it, and I don't want to harp on it and say it's terrible if I don't fully understand it. The fact that there were also chakras and energy tests on the same page is a big red flag, but I'll try not to let that influence my decision. I've decided to put the Enneagram test in a C tier. The True Colors test only really has 4 different ways to categorize a person. This one's got 9, but there's also wings, like you can lean one way towards a different type. And because there are so many different definitions, I feel like it would give you a better picture on an entire personality. But I'm curious, if there are any psychologists watching, or people who are well-versed in Enneagrams, how accurate or valid do you think the tests actually are? I'm curious to know what you think, so leave your opinions down in the comments. Our next personality type is the Jungian Archetypes. This is a personality test devised by Carl Jung, who was a disciple of Sigmund Freud and one of the earliest psychologists ever. Because he was so early on, he didn't have a lot of knowledge to build off of. However, this is a personality test developed by a real psychologist, and it's also a test not many people have heard of, so I'm curious to get into it and see what everybody thinks. Here we go. Find your archetypes. Boom! Carl Jung says I'm a content creator. It's really funny to imagine Carl Jung's outlining all of his archetypes, and one of them he just writes YouTuber. The creator archetype fuels the passion and drive behind all artistic and innovative endeavors, but it also holds the potential to consume and control our lives. Here's the circle graph where you can see all of them. Creator, orphan, seeker, warrior, fool, destroyer. The links to all these tests will be in the description, by the way, so if you want to take them, go right ahead. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, so take them at your own risk, but all the ones I'm taking today are free. And hey, let me know what your results are in the comments below. I don't know how grounded in science the Jungian archetypes are. It didn't provide that detailed of a description, but there was a lot of categories you could potentially be sorted into, and talking about the creator archetype really struck a chord with me. So, you know what? I'm gonna put the Jungian archetypes in A tier. Next, we have the DISC personality type. I first heard about this one in relation to working, and I think it's the approach people have when working with others. The acronym DISC stands for Dominance, Influence, Steadiness, and Compliance. I scored highest with Compliance, followed by Dominance, then Steadiness, and lastly, Influence. So let's take a look at what that actually means. Compliance, which is the highest, of course they had to make it blue just to rub salt in the wound. You act in an assertive, diplomatic way and strive for a stable, ordered life. You are goal-oriented, but tend to avoid risk-taking. You handle pressure well, you push yourself and expect others to do the same. Incorrect. Ooh, typical jobs. Huh. Okay, so an IT guy, or an IT guy. That's awesome. I'm so happy with this test. And hey, if I don't want to be an IT guy, I could be a manager or a manager or a manager. Oh. All right, the DISC personality report. I'm putting it in F tier. Honestly, this surprised me because I've heard good things about this personality test, but ranking based off of simply what I read on that website, it doesn't read like me at all. I really thought I would be mostly S. I'm a very thoughtful person, and I am quite persistent and patient, so having this be the second to last one, I don't think so. The Socionic tests. I've never heard of a sociotype before. I found this when doing research for the video. I immediately notice it wants me to diagnose a self-type. Oh, these are Myers-Briggs. I'm an INFJ. Okay, what does that mean? Wait, really? AKA INFJ? Is this just a reskinned Myers-Briggs test? Yeah, guys, I'm the empath. I guess I just understand people more. The ethical, intuitive introvert. Okay, that sounds flattering. Oh my gosh, look at all this stuff. Does anybody know what these mean? Ooh, I have a romance style. Infantile? Tend to try to attract partners' interest with joking, goofy, or even strange behavior. It's like they're talking straight to me. This is like surprisingly accurate. All of this checks out for me personally. All right, well, I was disappointed that the Socionics type was just a reskin of MBTI. However, their romance styles was a breath of fresh air and a lot of interesting information I hadn't really thought about before. Of course, because it's basically MBTI, I have to put it in A tier, but I'm actually gonna drop it above MBTI because they told me about my romance style. And now we're moving straight into Harry Potter. I'm throwing this and the next test in just for fun because of course people want to know what Hogwarts house I am. I've said it before in videos, but now I get to prove it to you. After you have died, what would you most like people to do when they hear your name? I don't care what people think of me after I'm dead, it's what they think of me while I'm alive that counts. Wow, very Gryffindor. I think I'd like for people to be proud of what I did. If you were attending Hogwarts, which pet would you choose to take with you? Cats, of course, obviously. I would take a white cat with me because look at how big and fluffy it is. The Sorting Hat is ready to make its decision. What did I tell y'all? I'm a Slytherin. The House of Ambition. They're not always evil. I promise I'm not evil. Why don't I do my Patronus and my wand just for fun? Because I haven't done enough quizzes today. Discover. Smooth. Around. Silent. Touch. Your Patronus is an unusual one. Another question is needed. Ooh, I'm excited to see. Do. Your Patronus is Jeff. And it's just a human. Just a regular guy. Whee! What is it?
It's a polar bear! That's so cool!
I'm stoked. Look at that, got a polar bear! We'll do the wand. Ooh, give me the dagger. Daggers are cool. And here's my wand, by the way. I wanted to include the Harry Potter stuff because it's fun. Not saying anything about its creator, but the work itself, I thoroughly enjoyed. In terms of how accurate it is, though, it's Harry Potter. I mean, of course, it's, let's be real. It doesn't say anything about my personality. We can agree on that. It's fun, but it has to go in F tier, right? Okay, I'm glad we all agree. And the last test, of course, is the Likable Person test. Are you a likable person? We'll find out. All right, let's see what I got Oh. So mostly good, little bit lower on tolerance, but still pretty good. And then, yeah, all right. Look, I'm glad that humor is full. It makes me happy to see that. Or I guess not that happy. I mean, all of their measurable scales are so subjective. I'm gonna give it a D tier because there are parts of it that I think I vibe with, but it's really just for fun. Wow, nothing in S tier. I guess I have pretty high standards for personality tests. But this tier list surprised me a lot, and there are a couple here that I wasn't expecting. I love taking personality tests. Always have. When I was a kid, my friends and I would take the "What superpower would you have?" quizzes. Of course, now that I'm older and wiser, I take more mature quizzes, like which vision would you have from Genshin Impact? I got Electro, by the way. But I already knew I was attracted to women, so I'm not surprised. A huge thank you to everyone who left answers to my white card prompt from the last video. I'm surprised so many of you are not only willing to participate, but also really funny. As a reminder, last video's white card prompt was, "The owner probably hired Karen because blank." It was hard to pick a favorite, but I have decided, and the gold card prompt goes to, drumroll please, Cat5. They said, Karen was probably hired because management wanted to share their pain and suffering. If I have to deal with her, so do you. I love the idea that anywhere Karen goes, she's so insufferable, people keep pawning her off like a bad Christmas present. So congrats, Cat5, that was a great response. This video's white card prompt is, now that we know about Aiden's personality, all that's left to find out is blank. So leave your answers down below with the hashtag gold card comment for a chance to be featured at the end of my next video. Thank you very much for watching to the end, and another big thank you to Mythica and Wyatt Johnson, my channel members. Your support is allowing a little country boy to make his dreams come true, and I am so grateful. Okay, I'll stop talking now. Roll the promo video!